So I've had an interesting vantage point over the past few months during the pandemic. So my mom is a city council member in the city of Nashville. She's the first Muslim woman to be elected to any public office in Tennessee. And so obviously, that comes with additional responsibilities and people that you feel the need to advocate for as a Black Muslim woman, in addition to all of the challenges that have just come, not only with the pandemic, but with the recent protests and the unjust deaths of several Black people as well. So, from the beginning, I've seen her just work tirelessly, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week, listening to the citizens of Nashville, taking conference call after conference call with various leaders and legislators, in the city and throughout the state. She does these weekly video calls to explain what's going on on the government side, and how they're working to meet the needs of the people. I've had the opportunity to help her a little bit, help her to write some speeches, send out newsletters, record videos, etc. Just seeing at the end of the day what people are going through, hearing what they're going through, listening to what it takes as a leader of people to not only listen to their concerns, but also, navigate a public health crisis, navigate civil, injustice. Public health crises are not new. Racism is not new. Black Lives Matter is not new. Police brutality is not new. But what is new is our current conscience as a society. I think that, as I said earlier, we've been willing to acknowledge the injustices that have occurred and that are occurring and that we're doing something about it. I think my wish is that conscious, that collective agreement to, choose to fight for, this definition of justice, I think that, we should keep that same energy. We should continue to, work towards the goals that we've stated, and then let this not be a transient state, but a recurrent reality. And I think, for me, I think this has shown, our role as citizens is to be advocates, period. For ourselves, for our communities, when we're in those spaces, especially where we can have a voice and others can't. I think, these past few months have emphasized that we have a responsibility to speak up for what's right and to challenge our leaders, and not I don't think doing so is in a malicious way. I think it's simply part of the social contract that we all sign when we select our leaders to represent us, because we entrust them to be able to do the work that we need to move towards the society that we want. It's interesting, while watching, my mom work constantly to do the work for the city council, she never complained, or she never wavered in her commitment, or she never took it personal. Rather, she acknowledged it as a part of her responsibility as a leader, and she kind of took it upon her shoulders to do her best. And she wanted people to hold her accountable. She wanted to hear what was going on so that she can use her power and her abilities to make, the society, the city, a better place in the position that it needs to be. And, I think as an aspiring physician who will have patients who will be in a system where there are health disparities, I think that is the approach we have to take in order to, again, seek out or create the culture of health that we want as doctors. So I think that's a really important thing. And then finally, I think, more than anything, what the pandemic, what the recent protests have done is that it's really shown me what the truly important things are in life. Medicine is a career, it's something that you do. It's a very noble profession. But at the end of the day, it's not the most important aspect of who you are. It's not the family that has supported you throughout all of your trials, medical school and not. It's not the love that you give to other people. It's not, taking care, like it's separate from the work you do to take care of yourself, to show yourself self-care. I noticed while I was at home that, in this grind of medical school, that I wasn't taking the best care of myself. My mind and my body wanted things from me that I wasn't giving them. Regular exercise, eating well, being in a mental space that is positive, and reinforcing of the person that I am, in spite of any struggles that I might be doing or be going through. What the pandemic did for me, it just allowed me to recenter and really know that, even as a doctor or an aspiring physician, that, there are also still bigger things and bigger parts of myself that I want to keep sane and healthy as well. So, overall, again, it's been a busy time, a crazy time, one of like incredible tragedy, both in terms of the people who've passed away, at the hands of the police, unfortunately, as well as during the protests, but also, due to COVID-19. But at the same time, like, I think I'm optimistic for where things are going, for how people have been responding. And I think, the lessons that I've learned, the things that I've reflected on during this time, I don't want to forget them. So I'm optimistic.